Okay, so it's Sunday. What day is that? It's not Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's day 6. Day 6 on the road. That means tomorrow's the last day. I'm looking forward to finishing now. Not in the sense of I can't wait to get it done, but it's one of those things. I've clocked over 120 kilometers already. I wouldn't say my legs feel fine, my feet feel fine, I feel fine. It's just like anything. My own bed is starting to seem like a nice place to be. I do miss my little woman and my little dogs. I feel like doing a poem again because one has leapt to mind based on the circumstances I currently find myself in. The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all his might. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright. And this was odd because it was the middle of the night. The moon was shining sulkily because she thought the sun had got no business to be there after the day was done. "That's very rude of him," she said, "to come and spoil the fun." The sea was wet, as wet could be. The sand was dry as dry. You could not see a cloud because no clouds were in the sky. No birds were flying overhead. There were no birds to fly. The Walrus and the Carpenter came walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand. If only this were swept away, they said it would be grand. If 7 maids with 7 mops swept it for half a year, do you suppose, the Walrus said, that they could get it clear? I doubt it, said the Carpenter, and shed a bitter tear. "Oh, oysters, come and walk with us," the Walrus did beseech. "A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along the briny beach. We cannot take much more than 4 and give a hand to each." The eldest oyster looked at them, but never a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head. His meaning? He did not choose to leave the oyster bed. But 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. Their coats were brushed, their faces scrubbed, their shoes were clean and neat. And this was odd because, of course, they hadn't any feet. The Walrus and the Carpenter walked on a mile or so, and then they rested on a rock, conveniently low, while all the little oysters stood and waited in a row. "The time has come," the Walrus said, "to talk of many things. Of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot and whether pigs have wings." "But wait a bit," the oysters cried, "before we have our chat, for some of us are out of breath and all of us are fat." "No hurry," said the Carpenter. They thanked him much for that. "A loaf of bread," the Walrus said, "is what we chiefly need. Pepper and vinegar beside are very good indeed. Now if you are ready, oysters dear, we shall begin to feed." "But not on us," the oysters cried, turning a little blue. "After such kindness, that would be a dismal thing to do." "The night is fine," the Walrus said. "Do you admire the view? It was so good of you to come, and you are very nice." The Carpenter said nothing, but cut us another slice. "I wish you were not quite so deaf, I've had to ask you twice." "It seems a shame," the Walrus said, "to play them such a trick, after we walked them out so far and made them trot so quick." The Carpenter said nothing, but the butters spread too thick. "I weep for you," the Walrus said, "I truly sympathise." With sobs and tears he sorted out those of the largest size, while holding a pocket handkerchief beneath his weeping eyes. "Oh, oysters," said the Carpenter, "you've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again?" But answer came there none. And this was scarcely odd because they'd eaten every one. I actually missed a verse. A bit annoyed with myself, but hey. I ploughed on, you didn't know it. But now you know. Yeah. Because when the 4 oysters come forward, then 4 more oysters follow them, and then another 4. And thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more, while hopping through the frothy waves and scrambling toward the shore. So I missed that one, but it doesn't really impact the poem too much. So that's a poem about people. It couldn't not be more relevant right now than it was when Lewis Carroll wrote it over 100 years ago. It's basically about how stupid people are and how much they will believe whatever moron trots along. So I think the Walrus was supposed to be the mustache guy. We need you in the army. And I think, the Carpenter. Insert religious figure who might fit the role of Carpenter here. And essentially it's just about people's sort of desire to be led, and they often end up led by donkeys. So currently, if you were going to do the Walrus and the Carpenter, you'd have to probably go with Trump, and then you got some choices, haven't you? Putin, Netanyahu, Nigel Farage, I don't know. The list, unfortunately, is practically endless. And what people like to latch onto is just any little thing. Anyone who comes along with an idea and says, I know the way! I know the way. And then they lead people to their ultimate destruction. Often to no real disadvantage to themselves. See the above aforementioned people, Trump, Netanyahu, Farage. Oh, I feel kind of bad putting Farage in with those two. He's more of a, like British, I don't want to call him a fascist, that's maybe too much. British oikish leaders who say they've got a plan for us, they tend to be sort of ineffectual, you know. It's the great thing about fundamentalist British people, it's still a bit weak. As long as they can have a cup of tea at the end of the day, they're probably all right. They're not quite as ambitious in their plans, shall we say, as some people from other places in the world have been over the years. I mean, I say that, you know, we did once conquer the entire world and take everyone's stuff and sell it. So I'm not saying we're any better, I'm just saying we currently seem to be a bit lily-livered about genocide, which is not a bad thing. There are some things it's good to not be too enthusiastic about. So, hope you enjoyed the poem and my total waffle that followed it. And let's go back to look at the beach. And it's now, I'm like pretty much completely alone. I think we're alone. Let's do one of these. Whee! This is gonna make you feel sick. Oh God, I'm dizzy. I'm dizzy with a backpack on. It's not a good. I know a lot of them in the Sahara, but it's island and there's maybe too much sun. I'm worried about getting burnt. So here's the view. It's basically been 7 kilometers of nothing but sandy beach. It's been delightful, but here's. Why did the mermaid blush? Because the seaweed. True story, kids. Making friends, I'm always making friends. So I've made a friend today. He's not very talkative though. Look at that boy. That's a big old boy. Yeah, they'll all be out there in that, what do I call it? Kelp. Probably in that kelp. Nice place to live. It's a place off Tenby where you can snorkel out and you can see dozens of spider crabs, which is what that is. A spider crab. You can see them all there at the bottom, nibbling away, feeding themselves, using the kelp as camouflage. I don't know what predators they really have though. You'd be a hell of a seagull to get down and get them. They may be apex predators. I'll look it up later. Essentially, hey, you may not know this, I think this is true. My daughter Isabel will soon correct me if I'm wrong, as will anyone else who follows me and knows more than I do about crustaceans. Spider crabs are the biggest crustaceans in the world. There are ones, I'm going to say Japan. I always feel, I always end up feeling racist when I talk about Asia, getting countries like Japan and China mixed up with what they've got, but I'm fairly sure it's Japanese spider crabs. They get absolutely enormous. I think something like 3 meters across, 4 meters across. I mean, that's the span of their legs, not the span of their shell. That would be a terrifying crab. Yeah. Yeah, like that's something Ray Harryhausen would have cooked up in his head. If you don't know who Ray Harryhausen is, I feel sorry for you. Look him up. If you've seen Monsters Inc., you've seen a reference to Ray Harryhausen. So yeah, let's have another look. I'm going to do another 360 for you. Wow, God. It is spectacular, but these yeah, these Oakley sunglasses I've got, they've got some kind of weird polarizing tint that makes the green greener and the blue bluer. So I'm looking at it in super HD. So like when I look out there, that sea is like practically cyan in color. It's practically glowing. So rose tinted spectacles, perhaps they are, but I think it's pretty nice. I think it's pretty nice. Ooh, I'm gonna go down and look at the rock pools. See if I can't get savaged to death by a spider crab. Come at me, bro. Hey, I don't know if you can see that high-vis running shirt disappearing off in the distance. That was a lovely Irish man I've just chatted to, and he was delighted when I said that might be the nicest 10 kilometers I've ever walked in my life. I can't think of a better one. Making comparisons is walking is a tough thing, because you always have to think about what are the circumstances are important as well. So I mean, just look at it. Still, it's as picturesque a place as you could ever walk. There's nothing beating that view in the world, but there's plenty of places that are just as beautiful. But you know, it's 10 kilometers of flat walking on packed sand. Like you can walk along with your eyes closed. It's just absolutely beautiful. And wow, I've walked 10 kilometers. I said earlier, I can't feel my pack really. It's because the walking is so enjoyable, the view is so enjoyable. There's a breeze, the sun's out. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm hopeful that somewhere nearby is a pint of Guinness. I'm not sure. He wasn't sure if they'd be open yet, but I'm going to go into this little village here and I'm going to find out if they've got a beer. Can I go that way? I'm going to go that way. Okay, I've had an interval. I stopped, I had a bowl of mussels, I had 3 pints of Guinness and a whiskey, which is the exact right amount of alcohol to get you going for the rest of your day. Another day, another bay. Yeah, I'm walking on a nice bit of beach again. Hapus Yawn. Another day, same day, another bay. This is Tralee Bay. This is a bay that tells me I'm nearly there, which I actually feel like, oh, kind of overwhelmed by a little bit emotional. Fine like a bitch, because it's been a cracking walk, and I'm looking forward to getting home. But yeah, like any good thing, the end, which is always something that comes. Yeah. Oh no. What do you say about it? I'm looking forward to getting home, that's for sure, but today particularly is like friggin' light side, dark side to yesterday. That was over Mount Brandon. There was a great day, but a tough day. It was rainy, it was windy, it was hard. There was no Guinness. Yeah, so like the thing that like almost powers me on is the idea that there's a pub. There's gonna be a pub soon, hopefully sometime after 12. Yay pub, yay couple of pints, like I've just had in Spillane's over there. A great 3 pints of Guinness and a whiskey. It's the perfect amount. If you ask your nutritionist, they will tell you that that is what you should have at lunchtime when you're on a long walk. Yeah, no, seriously. So Guinness has exactly the same electrolyte composition as the human body, and whiskey, it just makes you happy. So yeah, Yeah, as Mark Twain said, in most things just enough is too much, but with whiskey too much is often not enough. I think I'm near the end of the day today, Castle Gregory, somewhere around there. I think I'm gonna have to try and find a proper campsite, because I've seen a few signs asking you not to camp in the dunes specifically, saying it's an area of special conservation. I don't mind breaking a rule, but some things are maybe there for a really good reason. They're not just bloody mindedness. It's a case of protecting an area of conservation, because maybe there's something there that might be properly disturbed by people camping. But anyway, I got a keeper. It's a lovely scallop shell, well, half a scallop shell, but it's particularly attractive. It's lovely and shiny and nice. So I'm gonna keep that. That'll be maybe my little memento of my walk. Cool. There it is. There's the view. Let's do another twirl. Whee! Done a lot of these today. Hey, is this another day, another bay? No, it's still the Bay of Tralee. It's Tralee Bay all the way. So it's pretty much bedtime, camping bedtime, which is like 9 o'clock. This is my setup next to this little shed, which I think there was maybe sheep in here, but it's obviously grown some, based on the cut, grown some grass, maybe some silage, something. Yeah, so I'm gonna snuggle in. That was then my 6th day. There's me, Lawrence of Arabia. Had a great time in Spillane's pub. They had some crazy little taxidermy stuff in boxes that was really fun. And I clocked this on Google Earth, which I just love and wanted to share. Just the difference of days on the different days that those images were taken. I just love it, the total difference. Yeah, so it was a 24k day, a great day, 32,000 steps. And as always, thank you for watching.